Alright, YouTube. It's November 8th, 9:02 p.m. Doing a lot of praying. See whether we get Trump or Hillary in. Doing a lot of praying. Anyways, on to the layout. Okay, so before I get to actual progress, couple things real quick. Number one, had a blast going down seeing 844. Oh man, that's so exciting. Go down reaffirmed, reminded me why I love steam engines so much. Had a great conversation briefly with Ed Dickens, one of the Boilermakers, and then gentleman we were standing in line with while we were waiting to see the cab. He signed on with the Frisco in '62, I believe it was, and stayed with him all the way through the merger with BN and then through BNSF, and had just retired a couple of years ago. So we had a real nice talk with him about why the Frisco went under and what caused it, and BN and the merger and all that. So that was pretty good. And did some rail fanning. Although by the time I got back outside to do that, the camcorder battery was dead, so I didn't get that on tape, unfortunately. Let's see, number two, shout out to Northern Cali Terrains. Thank you for the excellent tip on soldering two pieces of flex track together and then doing curves, which is what I did here, and worked flawlessly. Your method worked flawlessly. My gluing did not, however. So, but I will be using that method on the rest of the layout. So, thank you. I'm going to love that idea. Third shout out thing real quick. Heading down on the 19th to film Robert Spurgat's layout. He's part of my operating group, Jack, Rocky, Robert, and it's a very large group. There's, I think, 6 or 7 other layouts in it. Unfortunately, he doesn't want any film on YouTube, so I'm going to respect his request and not put any on. But I will say that the layout is, oh my gosh, it's incredible. Most of the buildings are scratch built. The track is hand laid code 100, and this is in like a 20 by 40 foot room. The scenery is spectacular. It honestly really belongs in a museum or a magazine. But, so just huge shout out to him. If he's watching this, you got an amazing layout, man. I think you would be shocked at how many likes you would get if you put it on YouTube or Facebook or something. Anyways, on to layout update. Okay, so, first thing, this last time around, this wasn't here. So, yeah, like I said, this little tidbit here has been giving me the most trouble. I glued the copper strips down, laid the track, soldered it, cut the rail. When I test fitted it, that gap wasn't there. I went back and test fitted it was, so I cut that piece, filled it in, and then this end popped up. I hadn't let it sit long enough, so you can imagine all the interesting means I went to get that re-glued. Yeah, you can figure out the rest. So I got over that. The cork, as you can see, is laid all the way down here around the corner, and it stops behind the Norfolk Southern boxcar. It will eventually go farther down there at the top of the screen where I've started on the final benchwork section. That'll be in the update, but that's pretty much end of cork for now. There's a little bit of a slope there, you can't really see it, but I gotta go over and sand it with a Dremel. Sand it with Dremel, that's rich. Sand it, so that's why track ends there. I'm gonna chop it right there and then solder two pieces together, and the joint will be right there where the cork is pretty much straight anyways over the joint. That way I won't have a joint on the actual curve. So it's glued down to there. I was using liquid nails for projects, foam friendly. I really love that stuff because you can glue it down, you can peel it up. They were out of it, so I had to use foam safe construction adhesive. Long story short, if I ever find out I laid the track wrong here, then I might as well replace all sub-row bed because this stuff grips like you wouldn't believe, which is a good thing, but if I screw up, then it's a bad thing. So, yeah, just my luck. So that's, like I said, been giving me most interesting trouble. And I also got feeder holes drilled from down there all the way around over to right there where the joint is. I've also been testing this with a passenger car, a couple of freight cars, and freight cars coupled to passenger car, and everything works. Now also, real quick, my dad had an old 120 volt 60 HC 1.2 amp soldering iron laying around. Old Weller. Those of you who have been in my railroading for a while will probably recognize these. That's what I've been using to see solder the rail joints and everything. I got 40-year-old Sears soldering iron, which worked great. The tip finally got rode down to the bare copper. I got a newer one that something went wrong. So long story short, neither one of them are very good, and since, if you'll remember, eventually there'll be a deck over this, and the battery's dead, so I'm charging this while I'm recording. Well, you know. Anyways, if you remember, there'll eventually be a deck over this, so I want this all nice, secured, and basically perfect. There's second deck. There's third. So that's the first thing up. Next thing up, if we make a 1A, you're getting dizzy by now, you'll notice our sculpted mold riverbed is no longer white. Yay! Yeah, I got the base coat of brown on it. I'm going to go back and coat it in some grays, especially here in the bottom. Then I'll fade it into a more tannish and green up here. And then blend everything in like we did on the foam. But I'm just really glad I don't have to look at white sculpted mold anymore. Well, for the most part. But, yeah. I do apologize for the mess. Still haven't got around to cleaning the sucker up. But, like I said, I've been busy with that. And most of my time has been sucked up by college algebra. So, yeah, that's where you go. And so, again, apologize for the junk and parts and locomotive projects and everything else strewn out over the layout. Next thing up, our pastor does a lot of woodworking, and he just had this stuff laying around. It's, okay, hang on a second, let me set the blade charge cord down if it'll cooperate. Okay, it's not going to cooperate. Just a second, loop it through my thumb. Okay, there we go, that'll work. Anyways, he dropped these off. That's not a good angle. Trying to find one that has some decent weathering on it. Come on, you. There we go. Oh, well, okay, so you can't see very well. Anyways, they got some weathering on them, and they're small enough to fit in a 40-foot gun. So I'm thinking pole loads. So, just think telephone poles without the cross arms on them. There is a sawmill on my track charts. I've got period track charts, and it does show a sawmill at Logan. I haven't found anything yet on as far as when it shut down, production rates, any of that, so I'm just going to assume it wasn't huge, but it was enough to send out lumber and pole loads. So eventually I want to get a whole bunch of these and 4 or 5 gondolas dedicated just to that, and I'll have a nice little steady stream of stuff, of pole loads going out. So that's that. Trying to make sure I don't forget anything. Oh, yeah, okay, so the last thing for this update Sorry for the mess. I got two of the back legs, and then third back leg. You can see the frame sitting right there. But like I said, I got all this stuff in for the third benchwork section, so I'm really excited about this. This has been probably one of my biggest goals, because before I go away to welding school, well, another 2 years of welding school, this is something I got to do while I'm here. Locomotives, freight cars, I can do that over there. This I can't. So my goal has been to get this in. I get the track laid all the way around, get the 120 volt line run, get the track laid wired up, Loconet run, all that, and get everything attached up before I go. Which this is the first major step in that progress. It's not nearly done yet. I'm going to have a piece, one by coming down over there, that'll take the place of a leg that would usually be there. The long part of that, which you can see sticking out right there, is going to connect to this leg here, and it's going to go in that corner. So I got to test fit that. I'll get that little vertical piece, screw and bolt everything together, mark where to cut it in the back there, cut it, and I can bring everything back, bring this back down here again and do final assembly. I've already got a piece cut out that can go over there, which will be yard throat for that second staging yard. And then the piece of lumber laying right there is the sub row bed. So it's going to go on there, curve, and then in this little gap right here, the width between there and there is where it's going to start coming down, and you can see the slots for the 2x4s. I got one there, I got one right there. You can't see it because of the frame piece, but come down and it'll curve around here and connect up to that leg of the curve turnout. Unfortunately, it's going to be an 18 radius, and I really do not like that. But there's nothing I can do about it. So this will all be set track in here, sectional, so I can get the radius perfectly consistent and curved. And I need to, because with that there's barely room up front here for the main line to curve and cross over this right here to start doing its climb up when it gets to this side of the aisle. Yeah, but so that's what's going on there. That's still a couple weeks away from completion probably, but it's a major milestone. Once I get that done, the rest should go fairly rapidly. Let's see here. Anything else for the update? Oh yeah, there is one thing. Okay, give me a minute. I'll go grab it and we'll be back.